You're listening to Technology Frustrations and Gimmicks with your host, Aaron Moss.
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Technology Frustrations and Gimmicks. This is episode 3 of our second season of Privacy, Security, and Protecting Your Identity Online and Off. I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Universal Office Technician, ethical hacker, and author, and future tech influencer, of course, with your help. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the Computer Doctor website. First, we're going to look at some news in the technology world. Superman, the movie that was released in 1978, is not going away anytime soon. The entire movie was etched into glass as a data file. The robust format called Project Cilia was developed by Microsoft with the cooperation of Warner Brothers as a future long-term single-write media technology. Unlike magnetic and solid-state drive counterparts, this 3-inch glass can retain data for, get this, 1,000 years. Even after being boiled in water, blasted in a microwave, and demagnetized, it can still maintain its data. Very practical for the cloud and data centers, but will probably still break if you drop it. If you see a drone flying near you, watch out. It might have a flamethrower on board. Several heavy-duty drones now have options for a 1500 flame-throwing upgrade. With a 25-foot reach, it can have some useful applications, like burning limbs from treetops and cutting wire on electric poles. Doesn't take much imagination for destructive applications, so make friends, not enemies. Now, let's get into our discussion on identity protection. Here's what you need to know. This is tip number 17 through 20. And as you are listening to this podcast, you're going to notice that these next 4 tips kind of go in hand. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. So let's get into way number 17. And that is to not share names of relatives. So, if you enjoyed telling stories about your uncle, your aunt, your mother, your cousin, or your annoying little brother, be careful because people can easily take note. If they know your name and they know the name of a relative, it's not that hard for them to target you for doxing. Doxing is the practice, and I'm sure there are other names for it, but the latest trending name for it is called doxing. And what doxing is when you piece together someone's life by using different sources of online. One of the most easiest ways is to simply pay a $5 or $10 subscription to a background check type service online, like the one that I am actually subscribed to for various reasons is White Pages, the reverse lookup for White Pages. And you'll be surprised what kind of information you can come up with by just looking up someone on public record. Now, the interesting thing about the public record is that there is no, there could be 2 Aaron Mosses, or there could be 2 Joe Smiths. So if they know approximately what town you are in, what your name is, and maybe the name of a relative, everything else can be figured out pretty easily. And once they have a match of the correct person, they can pull up all kinds of things on you that, of course, are public record. For example, how many tickets you've had, if you've ever been in court, what the disposition of those things are, if you've ever been arrested. Things like this keep us, things that we think are private, we might just, if we're telling the wrong person about this information, they could be using that information or cataloging it at some point while they're maybe casually talking to you. They could be entering this information onto a website where they're doing a background check. Once they have a background check, they can easily start formulating other pieces of the puzzle about you. But this is how they target people. They need a target. They can't just pick a random person. So this goes to show you how important it is not to share names of relatives because one of the areas where you can confirm that you have the correct person that you're looking up online is they will ask you who are some of these people's relatives. Now, if the person already knows you, if they already know your relatives, obviously you may know this person well enough that they would not want to target you because you are a close friend. But be very, very wary of meeting people for the first time that are asking a lot of questions about your family. This person might be on their way to doing more research about you and trying to find ways to get at information that you don't necessarily want them to have. That takes us to way number 18. And along those same lines, way number 18 is to not share your age, if at all possible. Now, some of the ladies out there may not want to share their age even at all, but be very careful with who you let know what your age is, because under the same principle as not sharing names of relatives, you don't want to be too outgoing of sharing your age. The age is another category of information that a person can get information about you. For example, you might be the only Aaron Moss that lives in Tucson, Arizona, who is exactly 41 years old. So, if somebody out there wanted to do research on me, all they would have to know is that I am exactly 41 years old, and my name is Aaron Moss, and I live in Tucson, Arizona. There may be other Aaron Mosses out there, but not one that lives in Tucson, Arizona that is exactly 41. So you want to not share that type of information with people openly, especially people that you may not trust or that you have just met. The age may seem like an insignificant amount of information, but that information combined with other pieces of information that may be deemed useless, such as your name, your address, maybe the name of a relative, or your name of your mother, or the name of your father. All these things together is enough to put together a profile for them to look you up and to do a background check. And although it is public information, it's something that you do need to be aware of, because this is how people on systems that will ask you what your mother's maiden name was, guess where that information is? It's sitting right there in public records. I want to take a quick moment in the show to give a word to some of our sponsors. Please try to do business with these companies because it really helps us to make more informative shows more often. Do you or someone you know have an electric bill on the rise? Are you paying more than $100, $200, or $300 every month just to keep comfortable in the summer? The solution you're looking for might be solar energy with Icon Power. Call 520-307-1013. At Icon Power, they can evaluate your house, estimate your annual usage, and design a solar system that can meet or exceed your annual energy usage. And if your system generates more energy than you use, your electric company sends you a check. Call Julie Festerling at Icon Power at 520-307-1013 and tell them that the Technology Show sent you. Do you own a business without your own website? Websites are still the best way to control space where you draw your clients. If you have no website or need a website updated, corrected, recovered, or made mobile friendly, or even promoted to the top of Google, call the experts at Energous Marketing at 520-606-0937. Again, that's 520-606-0937, and tell them that the Technology Frustration Show sent you. Back to our discussion about privacy online and off, which brings us to way number 19. And that is to not share where you have lived. So, along with our other tips of not sharing your names of relatives, not sharing your age, don't share addresses, complete addresses of where you've lived. And that includes just giving people the street. So if you're at a casual gathering and someone's asking questions about, where do you live? Oh, I live over here. Oh, did you used to live over here? Yeah, I used to live on Roger Road, or I used to live on Main Street, or whatever. You see, you want to refrain from just divulging information like that, because that information can be used can be turned around to be used against you. With that information along those same lines as the age and the names of relatives, they can also pinpoint who you are by the former addresses, and they may not even need the full address. They may just need just the street name or even the name of the city. Okay, because you, like going to my example before, you might be the only Aaron Moss that lives in Tucson, Arizona, who also used to live in New York City. Okay, so they can take that information and says, oh, okay, yeah, the guy said, okay, so he lives in Arizona now, but he used to live in New York. And here goes a guy on the background checker whose name is Aaron Moss, who's 41 years old, who lives in Arizona, who also used to live in New York City. That must be him. Let's do a full background check on that. And then with that background check, they can find all kinds of things, including why, the dates and times of activities that you've had in the past, things that you don't really want this person to have. So again, try to make friends, not enemies, because the people that you're dealing with every day might have alternate motives. Using this technique and combined with others can give them enough information for them to steal your identity, or to even make a new identity, or enough information about you to even pretend to be you on paper, online, or in person. So again, don't share where you have lived with people that you don't know very well. The next one is way number 20, and that goes along with the other three as well, and that is to not share the location where you were born. And so this goes along the same way. So some people may try to get this information from you, and it's very easy for you to say, yeah, I was born in this city, yeah, I was born in this hospital. You see, you don't want to divulge that kind of information. There is an added interest into this because obviously the day that you were born is the day that you were born goes hand in hand with your age. So people can maybe figure that out. If they know when your birthday is and then they know how old you are, they can divulge the exact date of your birth. But if they also have the city or approximate location of your birth, did you know that they can probably figure out what your Social Security number is? I know, that sounds crazy, right? That someone would actually be able to figure out within a few digits probably of what your Social Security number is. If they have the location, and if it was a hospital, a registered hospital, and if they have the approximate date and they know the city and state, it is quite possible to figure out what someone's Social Security number is. For example, did you know that if a baby was born in one particular hospital at 1 o'clock, and then another baby in the same hospital was born at 2 o'clock, they may have Social Security numbers, most likely, that is probably just one digit apart. The Social Security card was not really designed as a secure numbering system. Okay, so the next time that somebody was born, whatever prefix numbers they had, they would just go one digit up. And this is one of the reasons why the Social Security card or the Social Security Administration cannot be looked at as a government ID type of situation, because the numbers are not secure. As a matter of fact, if you were to go onto a website and you were to try to type in just any bogus credit card number and try to put purchase, it would take quite a bit of time before you even came across a number that even came up as even being valid. But that's not the case with the Social Security number. You put out any 9 digits, or if you think about your Social Security number and you do a couple of digits numbers off, that is probably a good, valid Social Security number. But you have no name on it. Okay, but if someone is able to figure out the location where you were born, the date that you were born, and even the city that you were born, or if even worse yet, the hospital that you were born in, if that was the case. It is quite possible for them to figure out what your Social Security number is. And I don't have to tell you how much damage can be done if someone has your Social Security number and your name. That's it for this episode of Technology Frustrations and Gimmicks, which is sponsored by Computer Doctor of Tucson. We do amazing things over the phone with our tech phone support across the United States. Call our main number at 520-261-5508 or visit our website at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works. Regardless of what platform you're using to listen to this podcast, there is most likely a share button. Please help us out and share this episode with friends, family, colleagues on social media, or email them direct to our website at thecomputer.show.com. Also send us a text at 520-261-5508 or our social media sites on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram for any and all comments or questions about the show. Stay tuned for more episodes of our show. Until then, see you next time.
This episode of Technology Frustrations and Gimmicks is sponsored by Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works. For more of our podcasts, visit techshow.xyz or wherever you listen to your podcasts.